Hello and welcome back to Farawa. Through April, May, and June this year, I worked on making my second ever batch of violet syrup. I had made some last year which had turned out wonderfully, but I used it sparingly because it only came out with a small jars full. This year, I aimed to make as much as I could while still leaving enough for the bees and prettiness. I started off by picking about a small basketful or a couple handfuls of blue violets each day in April. There were even more this year than last year. After picking them, I removed the petals from the stems and then washed them before setting them in hot water overnight to make a sort of tea. The next day, or sometimes a couple days later when I forgot, I strained out the violets. I repeated that process through late April and late May. It seemed that most people online achieved a nice blue color with their violet tea, but something to do with the pH levels of our well water makes it a grayish hue instead. However, this year it was a bit more yellow than last. But I was still excited because when you add lemon juice to either blue or gray violet water, it should turn a lovely magenta. You can even see the beginnings of blue when I first began to soak them. Eventually, I had to start using more white violets as they seemed to stay longer or bloom later than the blue. May 12th marked the day when I had gathered too much tea for the big jar to fit. So I decided after a hard month of schoolwork and homework and testing that I would finally do the thing which I had been waiting for. Even though the tea this year wasn't gray-green like last year, I figured that maybe I had just added too many white violets, but that the color change should still happen. So I added some lemon juice, and more, but nothing happened. It was a pretty big disappointment to say the least. Anyway, I decided to begin reducing. I measured last year, but this year I kind of just guessed. I added about a 1-to-1 ratio of tea to sugar. I heated it with the lid on until it bubbled, and then removed the lid and stirred to let the steam rise and make the syrup thicker. But be careful you don't leave it for too long, because I had this perfect honeysuckle syrup I was making, and left it for too long, and it looked like this. I kept measuring to see how much it reduced by. When I was done for the day, I transferred it into a container and stored it in the fridge temporarily. I still really wanted to try and achieve the nice color, so my mom suggested dyeing it with beets. As long as we didn't use too much, the tea would gain the nice pink color, but not the beet flavor. I was pretty happy with how it turned out. Then I started reducing that, and unfortunately it quickly turned back to yellowy orange of before. Here's what it basically looked like last year. I recently rewatched last year's video and saw this. I totally forgot to try that and it's too late now, but still a really good suggestion that hopefully I'll try next year or sometime in the future. Here's what the final batch of syrup looks like after all the reducing. I made so much, not only to see if I could in the first place, but also because I wanted to give it to some of my teachers as an end-of-the-year gift. I began using the funnel to get syrup in, but it was so thick that the process was slow. I decided to just use the jar, which resulted in a couple of mistakes, but worked much better. The color is such a beautiful amber, like Jurassic tree sap. Hopefully not the same taste though. Not that I know. I transferred what was left over from the teachers to a jar for myself to last the year. It smells deceivingly bitter, but I think it tastes a bit like grapes. I added some water to the jar which had previously stored the syrup to make a nice sweet fruit drink. Here are all the jars for my teachers, and I added another small jar of syrup after this for another teacher. If any of my teachers are watching right now, well, hello, and I hope you liked the syrup and are having a good summer. And for the few who I know will not be coming back next year, I'll miss you and I wish you well. And for those who are, I'll see you in a couple of months. There are so many things you can do with this syrup. Anything you do with maple syrup, like pancakes or waffles. You could put it in lemonade or water or use it like honey. I made this cake for my dad for Father's Day. It was going to be a carrot cake, but we didn't have any carrots, so it's apple and peach and cinnamon with a fruit compote, yogurt, and of course, the violet syrup. I am very proud of it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something, or entertained, or just inspired. And if you're my teachers, then thanks for watching as well, and I hope you liked the syrup. Goodbye for now from Farawa.